Today's episode is going to be on tomatoes. We're going to talk a little bit about nutrient deficiencies and upplanting. So let's get busy. All right, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Lonely Pines. Today we're going to talk about tomatoes. So these are some starts that we've had going for about 2 months. And we've got some 𝙒𝙧𝙖𝙧𝙢 in there, some chocolate cherries, and some 𝙁𝙧𝙧𝙢 tomatoes. So you can look closely here and you can see that there's definitely a problem. We've got some burnt out leaves, some discoloration. Over here we've got some purple going on. Okay, same thing over here. And what this is a little experiment that I've been running this spring. All this dirt that they're in is our old potting soil, and I did not amend it. So there's no good nutrients in any of this. I wanted to see if it would hold over, and it did not. So here are some early Oregon girls, just in their little seed trays still, and you can see that they also are lacking a bit. Oddly enough, the loofah is looking fantastic. I think that is more because the loofahs grow so slowly that there's not a massive uptake in nutrients. So basically what's happening here, here's a Brussels sprout over here, and you can see it's got some purpling going on down there. Basically what's happening is a nutrient deficiency, phosphorus in particular, maybe some potassium. Of course there could be more nitrogen as well. It's a catnip plant here, and you can see how purple this all is. I hope you can see that in the sunlight. And then we have since fertilized this with a heavy phosphorus and potassium, and you can see the new growth coming in there, looking all great. So we'll cut the rest of this back and let it continue to do its thing. But for the moment, let's get these upplanted in some better soil and try to fix this problem. So this tomato here is a 𝙒𝙧𝙖𝙧𝙦, and you can tell that he's just not happy. You know, the tips are starting to turn. Excuse me, get you back in frame. Tips are starting to turn a little bit, and it's just not looking healthy. You know, and this over here is an 𝙁𝙧𝙧𝙢 tomato. It's just long and tall and spindly and weak, and the height is a little bit my problem from when I was growing them from seed. They weren't exposed to enough bright light soon enough, but you know, he's just not looking healthy. And what it boils down to is it's this soil. And this soil is our old potting mix that I intentionally used with these tomatoes to see if it would work. And obviously it doesn't. It needs to be enriched every year. So we do reuse our soil, but it does need to be amended. I'm also very interested in this 𝙁𝙧𝙧𝙢 tomato. If you look at the description there, I mean, it's pretty much everything you could possibly want, right? Except for the fact that it's 10 seeds for $4.95. But we'll give it a shot. I'm interested in a lot of different tomatoes and finding the best tasting and most prolific, and of course disease resistant is always a plus. So thank you, Territorial. We'll give them a little plug. I don't work for them or nothing like that, but thanks, Territorial. We'll give this a shot. So today we're making up some of our own soil. So if you've been following us, you know we have a dirt video out there that you might have seen. So today we're going to make up a little bit more. Basically all it is topsoil, some steer manure, some peat moss over here, a little fertilizer. In this case we're just using a generic 16-16-16 because we know that we have nutrient deficiencies in our soil. This will hopefully fix all of that, and at the same time it will take care of the beds that we're going to plant these things in. When we're all finished planting these, we'll water them in, and again, because I know that I have a phosphorus deficiency, we're going to do this Alaska Moor Bloom. It's a 0-10-10 nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. So I want to go heavy in the phosphorus potassium in particular because I know our earth around here is lacking. Okay, this is also a great fertilizer that I use from time to time, fish and guano. It's a 962, and you know, honestly I might do like a tablespoon of each, and then we'll have what, a 9-16-12. Sounds great. Okay, so this is all of our ingredients all together in the wheelbarrow, ready to get mixed up, except one thing. Coffee grounds. So this is a great resource. It's free from Starbucks. You can stop by there. They usually put out, I understand, 10-12 bags of it a day. And you can use this as free fertilizer. Some people think that it's too acidic. It is not. It's already been run through the coffee process, so all of the acidity has for the most part been neutralized. I wouldn't want to go overboard with it. Caffeine can be used as a weed inhibitor, I believe, so I wouldn't want to just pour it on top of your garden. But we're going to mix this whole bag inside all of this, and I'll get right back to you. Alright, so we've got our new mix all ready to go. You can see that's looking pretty good. Should do the job just fine. We'll leave a link to the other video. You can check that out more if you want to know more specifics. But today's about the tomato plant, so let's see if we can get that taken care of. So this is a little Artemis. And like I say, it's just how he's not really doing great. So I think what we're going to do, one thing you should keep in mind when you're working with tomatoes, when you replant these, you want it to be deep. Okay, this is a 1-gallon container here, and it's just a little 3-inch pot here. So we're going to put that whole thing pretty much down to there. Okay, and what will happen is out of these little nodes on the tomato, you'll get new roots. It'll be a stronger plant for it. Okay, so we'll get a little dirt. Just getting a few inches down there in the bottom, just so we're not setting that completely down. Okay, and a lot of times these younger leaves, they'll fall off, and that's nothing to worry about too much. Kind of tempted to take this one off as well. I think we'll just leave that. And just take your tomato, give it a good squeeze and a push. Hopefully come right out of there. Okay, that's not too bad for the root growth. You don't want the roots to be curling all around searching for more dirt for it to grow into. If you're getting to that point, then you probably should have already transplanted it. That's what we call root bound. We don't care for that. So let's get that in there. And then we're just going to backfill it with some dirt. So all we're going to do is keep that tomato plant centered in there. Just backfill around it a little bit. A little shake. Tamp it down. Maybe a little more. Okay, and there you go. A brand new, nice pot for it to live in. This will be good for at least a few more weeks, up to about a month. You really don't want to put a tomato in the ground until your nighttime temperatures are pushing, at least 50, preferably 55 or 60 degrees. They just don't like the cold weather, and it will stunt them. This little bit of leaf here, I'm just going to pinch this right off. Just get rid of that. Get rid of this leaf too. So it's just a good way of hardening them off and waiting for the weather to be right to plant them. So the last thing you want to make sure that you do is water your plant in. And in this case, we're going to do it with a little liquid fish and guano fertilizer. It's a 962 NPK. I do know that the phosphorus and potassium in our area is low, but our soil mix should amend most of that for starters, so we don't need this number to be really high. I'll switch over to a 16, 16, 16 if I have to, but I don't think that'll be necessary at this point. So there's our new good looking tomato. And we've got a 1 tablespoon per gallon of the fertilizer, and we're just going to water that in real well. And I'll probably water this a couple of times. Just fill it up and let it soak down in there. That peat moss is really going to help retain moisture. There you can see it running out already. I'll go one more. So hopefully in about a month, our nighttime temperatures will be closer to 60 degrees, and we'll go ahead and get this little girl in the ground, and we'll be harvesting tomatoes in no time. Okay, so just a quick update to show you guys what's gone on with those tomatoes that we upplanted. It's been about 4 weeks, and you can see the fertilizer in the fresh dirt mix and the liquid fertilizer to water them in has done them wonders. Very healthy plants. Got to get in here and prune them a little bit. We're going to get them in the ground as well, but there you go. If you got plants that are a little sickly, don't be afraid to upplant them, replace the dirt, and get a little fertilizer in there, and you can take care of most problems. All right, well, that's it for today. We're trying to keep it short and sweet. A little bit about nutrient deficiencies in tomatoes, how to fix them real quick, and get ready for the rest of spring. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe our videos. Thank you so much for everybody that already has, and happy growing.